welcome. South Africa has this incredible situation. We've got one of the world's most forward-thinking constitutions, full of rights. But then so many ordinary people, well, they just don't seem connected to it. They lack basic legal know-how, and that hits them hard daily. It's a huge gap, really.
It absolutely is. And look, what we want to do today is chat about how you, as legal industry leaders, can tackle that gap head on.
Okay.
We're talking about using video-first podcasting, not just, for marketing fluff, but as a real strategic tool, something to boost awareness. Yes, bring in leads, definitely make your service stand out.
Right.
And really connect deeper with your community, your stakeholders. It's about impact, practical impact.
Okay, let's unpack that, because I think for leaders in the legal space, the big question is probably, why a video podcast, with everything else demanding attention? Why this? What's the edge?
That's the core question, isn't it? Look, the reality out there is pretty stark. Many South Africans, young, old, working, not working, they just don't know their basic rights or how to act on them. You see it everywhere. Housing, labor issues, consumer rights, even things like customary law. Think about it. Lots of workers don't realize they have only 30 days, a really tight deadline, to take an unfair dismissal to the CCMA.
30 days, wow.
Exactly. Or that domestic workers now fall under COIDA, for injuries on the job. That came from a huge case, Malangu and another, which really brought in protections. Video lets you show this stuff.
Show, not just tell.
Precisely. You can visually explain the CCMA steps or talk through what a ruling really means on the ground. It gives a clarity that honestly just text or audio often struggles with for these kinds of life-changing, complex topics.
That visual element sounds powerful.
Yeah.
So how does this directly, tackle that lack of access and help the legal service itself?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for firms. First off, it's an amazing way to build awareness and get leads. Think of your main video podcast episode as like the mothership of your content from that one recording. You can slice it into great newsletter pieces, blog posts that search engines love, catchy little audio clips, and short, sharp videos for all the social platforms, YouTube Shorts, Insta, LinkedIn.
So one effort, multiple uses.
Exactly. It drives leads because you're making complex legal stuff simple, accessible. You're turning your firm's deep knowledge into bite-sized info people can actually use. When you talk about big cases like Group Boom on housing rights or Behave on women's inheritance and customary law, you're not just lecturing.
You're building a resource.
You're building an incredibly valuable library, practical knowledge, and that positions your firm as the go-to place.
So it educates the public and grows the business.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Right.
How does that help with, say, standing out from the crowd, attracting clients?
Well, a regular video podcast series, it immediately sets your service apart as a thought leader. Think about who's watching or listening, current clients, potential ones, investors maybe, other stakeholders.
Sure.
Your firm suddenly has a voice, a face. It humanizes the expertise, that openness. It draws in new clients, builds real loyalty, creates a community. And video is key here. People really prefer seeing the hosts, the guests. It builds trust.
Right. Seeing is believing, almost.
It is. You're consistently showing your firm's unique take, its authority. It turns passive listeners into, well, fans. Engaged stakeholders.
Okay, that connection is vital.
Yeah.
What about that broader community engagement? You mentioned stakeholders.
Yeah, this is where it gets really transformative. By consistently putting out valuable legal info, you're sharing real leadership. It builds deep loyalty, not just with clients, but the wider community.
How does that work in practice?
Well, you start building this positive feedback loop. You can invite industry experts, current clients, even, credible critics onto the show as guests. Every chat becomes a way to build relationships. Then you share those conversations, video, audio. It nurtures this active community around your firm's knowledge. Then you can invite them, the listeners, to maybe exclusive Q&As or deeper dives. It's a two-way street. Empowers people, strengthens ties.
Okay, so beyond the sort of soft benefits, how does a legal service see a concrete return? What results can they actually expect?
The ROI for legal firms is very real. It's measured in trust built, relationships started, meetings booked, a pipeline that's not just bigger, but much more engaged.
Right.
Imagine doing regular episodes like, say, breaking down your housing rights, what Group Boom really means for you, or workplace issues, navigating unfair dismissal in the CCMA.
Very practical.
Totally. Maybe women, inheritance and customary law, understanding the VA case changes, or know your consumer rights. using the CPA. These aren't just theories. They hit real-life issues affecting millions, especially, in rural areas or townships where legal literacy is often low and advice is hard to come by.
So the podcast becomes a lasting resource.
A permanent, searchable example of your firm's thinking. You become the clear, reliable voice people turn to first.
Okay, this all sounds great, but it also sounds like a lot of work. What kind of professional support is out there to actually make this happen?
That's a fair point. This whole process from smart content creation to really growing an audience and tracking results, it's quite specialized. You typically look for a turnkey solution, someone who provides everything. Studio access or handling remote recording smoothly, top-notch editing for the full shows and those vital short clips, a solid plan for getting it out everywhere.
Distribution.
Yeah, distribution across all the podcast platforms, and, crucially, performance marketing. Campaigns designed to grow your audience, making sure your valuable content actually reaches the people who need it. Good support means high quality, which is non-negotiable for video to really work.
It feels like ultimately the real power of our legal system isn't just the laws on paper, but how many people actually know them, can use them. Imagine the shift if every South African understood their basic rights. Whether it's housing or dealing with a labor issue, investing in a video podcast, it feels like more than just business strategy. It's like contributing to making the Constitution real for everyone, putting those legal tools in people's hands.
Beautifully put. And look, this journey from just an idea to actually engaging people effectively, it is specialized. If you want to explore a clear pilot proposal, maybe even visualize what your firm's first episode could look like, connecting your expertise to those who really need it, you can connect with Tim Africa.
Okay.
They offer that complete turnkey solution. We talked about production, growth, the works.
Great. You can find out more and connect with Tim Africa on their website, tim.africa. That's tim.africa. They're also on Instagram at tim.africa and Facebook at facebook.com/chilton.africa. And check out their podcast hub, pod.tim.africa. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Here we go. Ideas fast, project flow. Catch the vibe, catch the spark. Light it up, ignite the dark. Pitches with a bigger beat, switches. Podcasters, turn to the marketing riches. Plug it in, turn it loud. Build your brand, make it proud. Pitch it high, pitch it sweet. Performance game, can't be beat.